Okay, I've got a very limited space to work here, but I'm going to show you what I've done. Here's that flute. You'll notice it was a piece of cedar, Eastern red, and what I did first to it was I took the old finish off of it. It had an old polyurethane finish on it. All I did was sand the old finish off. I started with it was a branch, and I had troughed it. You can see where I glued it together. But I took the old finish off of it. I'm going to lay this aside. But I said I was going to do a few modifications to it. I'm not going to modify the barrel, but here's the strap that I had the bird, or I think what Mark was calling the tree. It had a very simple tree on it. It was just another piece of cedar that I had cut down on a bandsaw. I found an old bear amulet. Actually, I found a couple of them. I found a piece of agate, a little piece of jade. But I'm going to take this piece of jade and I'm going to put it on this. Then I'm going to do some scroll work on the barrel. Now, I don't know if you can see it or not, but I've already carved. I took my Dremel and put a little diamond tip on it, and I've already carved out a trough for this little green piece of jade here. And what I've got right here is the powder, the shavings from that I carved out of it. And when I glue that in there, when I glue this little green piece in here, I'm going to spread the powder around the outside edge of it so that it'll cover any glue that might be visible. And then when I sand it down, I'm going to sand it all the way down to a 2000 grit, and it'll and then when I go back with the carnauba wax, and you can see how, you know, it's a real good fit. But when I sand it back down, it'll with a carnauba wax and put like the little Dremel buffing wheel on it, it'll just shine up like a piece of glass. But I've got a bottle of leather dye up there, black leather dye. I'm going to dye this black first. So when I put this back in there, I'll have to compensate by putting a little bit of black dye in my glue. So I'll come back to you with it. You'll see as it comes along. I just wanted to make the video of it, you know, to show y'all as I made step by step. So bear with me. I'll come back with you. I'm going to do a little bit of artwork on the flute itself too. I'm not, you know, practiced up on playing with it, but I will, you know, as soon as I get it done. I'm going to put. There's supposed to be a little toxic resin in cedar. I used to make them out of Bodock wood, which is the same as Osage orange, or what they used to call hedge apple wood. That's what I used to make them out of, but this one's made out of, like I said, that's the reason that I kept it, because I didn't want to sell it. But that's the same reason you can't smoke a cedar pipe. Okay, now what I did was I went on ahead and drilled my hole in there, and then I don't know if you can see this or not. Well, if I hold it down here, I guess you can. I took Gorilla Glue. It says it glues everything. and I glued my stone into place. Well, then I took the dust that was on this card and I poured it around the stone, and what glue seeped out from around the stone, I poured the dust around it, and what dust collects the glue is going to hold it. And now I've got my bear amulet in place there. Now when I go sanding on that, I can sand it down. I've already used a 400 to sand this. I'm going to use to sand the bird or the tree, which Mark called it. I'm going to use a 6 and then an 8, and then I'm going to stain it black, where I'm going to paint it black so that I don't get any green or black on the green amulet. From there, I'm not going to put any other finish on that. I may give it another sanding or two, may take it all the way down to 1,000. But I'm going to take the actual flute all the way down to a 1,500 before I put any painting on it. But I'm going to put like a scrimshaw design on it with the paint, and then I'm going to put a couple of wrappings on it, a sewn wrapping, kind of like what's on the handle of my cane. Let me grab it right quick and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is the handle of the cane that I was talking about. I'm going to put like right here on the flute, I'm going to put like a sewn wrapping like this, except just a short one right here. And then I'm going to put another one right down here on this end. Where he had put a leather wrapping, I'm going to put sewn wrappings with a leather on top of it to put a string strap on. But it'll look something like this. This sewn, well, turn. This sewn leather like this, stitched. Anyway, I'll be back. All right, now I've got, I don't know where that shadow's coming from, probably from that open door over there. If you can, as you can see, I've got, there we go, I've got the bed where the tree or the bird sits. I've got it stained black, and I've got the whole thing polished down to a 2,000. So it's really got a real nice slick finish on it. And I've got that I said it was jade. It's not jade, it's chalkstone. I've got it set into the bird. Now when I get it in place, it's going to look real good on that black background. You can see there. I don't know, I can't get a good, well, you can see. It'll look real nice on that black background. Now, I've got these two pieces of leather. I'm going to cut these down, and I'm going to put a wrap in between that bed and my first finger hole. Going to put a narrow wrap where he had put his wrapping, and I'm also going to put another wrap down here, a narrow wrap. In those two spots, I'm going to come back and I'm going to use this lacing and tie over the top of it where it'll give it this look. To kind of accent let me see if I can get this in my hand without dropping everything. To accent that. And I've got, like I said, I've got that shadow over there from that open door. But anyway, to accent that, and the leather that's going to hold this on is going to be black twine or black cordage. So hold with me. All right, I've got all my my dye and my paint work done. I've got my got the bird inlaid. Now what I've done on this is around the hole, I've got my mark laid right here where my leather is going to wrap, okay? And out from underneath the leather, I've got a vine encircling my holes. I've used four different colors. I've used black dye, I've used green, I've used blue, and I've used red. Now the pattern that I've used is a pattern I've come up with out of my head. And it's a pattern, it's a vine representing, it's the staples for the bear. It's a vine. And in the vine, there's his food. There's green for his food, black for his path, red for his berries, and the flowers, I don't know if you can see them or not, but right here, well, get back over here where you can see them. Right here, the blue, each one of the flowers, I'll show it to you better out in the light when I'm finished with it. But in the flowers, there's blue, and they're all in the shape of a waterfall for water. But I'm fixing to polish it down. I see there's one of the flowers right there. It's in the shape of a waterfall. But I'm going to wrap, like I said, I'm going to wrap starting, the first piece of leather will go right here, and it will overlap that piece of vine, so it'll be coming out from underneath that. Anyway, I'm fixing to start. I've got my my Dremel and the bird, and I've got my wax here, and I'm fixing to start polishing down on it. Let me get I got my wax about halfway shook. Y'all see who it's me. Get my wax about halfway shook up here. So give me a little bit on here on my finger, and I'm gonna cover up this bird. See, it don't take a whole lot of this stuff. I'm just gonna, where you at? I'm just gonna start rubbing it down, stone and all. It don't take a whole lot of it. It's pure carnauba. And I'm not gonna polish the draft hole, and I'm not gonna polish the bottom of it. But I've just got a regular old Dremel. It's variable speed. Actually, it's an iron time Dremel, but I'm gonna start off slow. Show you what it does. Now, this is without a fast speed. I just wanted to show you. See the gloss I'm getting on it? And you can see it's polishing up that stone really well. The sides. So anyway, I'm going to run a gloss on it, a real high speed buffing. I'm going to put another coat of wax on it. Buffer down real good at high speed, and then I'm going to get to work on, I'm going to take me a coat of 2000 sandpaper and buff that the fingerboard of that flute where I've dyed it. But I'm going to let it sit for about 45 minutes before I sand it. Then I'm going to get to buffing on it, and I'm going to put the leather work on it, get to sewing. I'll be right back. All right, now I got it laid in my lap. Got it all shined up. Got these two metal pieces on. There's the but anyway, here's my first patch, my first leather patch. There's the other one tied on down here at the bottom, but that's where it's going. And there's the other one. Got my needle and some thread. See the thread? I'm fixing to sew this first one on. I'm going to start boy, that's some thick stuff right there. By going through it. From the inside. Reason I say that, I'll show you here. I got my short strings hanging out. I guess I'm sitting around today like a slouch. These are still hanging too. I haven't cut them off. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to do something with them or not. Reason I say that is because you got a knot on this, the inside of this thread. When you pull that, that knot is going to end up on the inside there. See what I'm talking about? Your knot is going to end up on the inside, so when it lays down, the knot will be hidden. Got that? Then you go back to this side, and put the stitch in right there. Let me move my hand where you can see it. Go back to this side and go in here and back through, and there's your first stitch, and then this will stay on and your knot will be hidden. See the knot there? It'll be hidden to the inside. Got that? And I'm going to make me a run all the way down, and I should be using black thread, but this right here, this is carpet thread. It'll be very, very sturdy. I won't have to worry about it holding. I won't have to worry about it breaking. And I can take a Sharpie and color the stitches. Won't even have to worry about it. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing. I've got it sewed. Going to take my Sharpie now, and I'm going to hit these stitches. And I'm going to show you how easy this is going to work. You'll never be able to see these stitches later, because they're in there real good and tight. They won't roll. This leather won't stretch, unless of course you get it wet. And I'm going to show you how to hide the knot. We'll roll that end over and color that knot so that it won't be seen. Then tuck it, fold that end down. Now, while we're here, I made that last stitch, and when I did, I got string coming out. Let me show you. I got string coming out this way, so obviously there's going to be a knot showing somewhere. So what I do is I come to this side and I pick up a little bit of leather, just a tiny bit of leather. Okay? Like right there. Okay? Hang on just a second. And I run underneath and pull it out this way to where my knot is coming out from underneath. Okay? Then I make another loop. Just run it out again. The same stitch. Not all the way through both pieces. Let me get my... Just run it out the side like that, like it was that same way I told you, but leave this loop like this. Then I take this, the needle, and while I've got this loop like this, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4 times through. And pull it very tight. Clip it short. Tuck it under. Color it with the Sharpie. And my knot is hidden to the inside. Okay? Go down here and sew this other piece of leather, and then I'm going to wrap it with this piece as a shoulder strap. And I'll be right back. Y'all bear with me. Done. I'm finished with it. Haven't got the case made. I'm not a player. I sit and I play with it. I meditate with it. Anyway, let me show you. Y'all remember what it looked like before. I started off by buffing it to a nice shine. I got my scroll work painted on it. It's got 4 different colors. They represent the earth. The amulet is for the bear. And they represent the earth as it pertains to the bear. And how the earth feeds the bear and accommodates him. I put this back on it. This was the piece of leather that I put on it, some 15 years ago when I made it. It was the one that I had the bird tied down with. So I figured since it had been on it for 15 years, I would put it back on. I stained the deck, the sound deck, stained it black. Haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with it. I may keep it. I may make another one. I may put it in my next go. I may gift it to somebody. I'm going to give it a little smoke bath. I was going to put a cap on the end because it was made of cedar, and I got to thinking about it. A lot of flutes are made of cedar. Some of them are made of western cedar. Western cedar gets a real deep tone. This is eastern cedar. Eastern cedar gets a brighter tone. Western cedar gets a deeper tone. And eastern cedar has a better smell. But you can blow a sweeter note. It's a fine little player.